Back in June 2023, Genshin Impact announced that it would do several university roadshows in multiple campuses in the Philippines, with schools like College of Arts and Technology and Asia Pacific College receiving personal visits from representatives in hopes of tapping into the market of Filipino university students. And it was because of this announcement that I was so intrigued to dive deeper into the history of Hoyoverse's interesting marketing tactics throughout the 3 years' existence of Genshin. Genshin Impact is a game that has transcended a lot of people's expectations in terms of quality, revenue, and popularity, with it consistently earning millions of dollars every month for its banners as well as garnering thousands of new players by the week. A lot of that has something to do with Genshin's strong marketing team being the brains of its massive reach in terms of exposure. But there have been some weird business collaborations in the past that really makes you wonder, who in the world are they marketing this for? So today, I want to run through the list of fascinating Genshin Impact collabs in the past just so that you can see how relentless and massive this game really is in terms of marketing. Before I go to the collaborations, I want to say that Hoyoverse's method of marketing is surprisingly very hands-on. I think anyone that has had gaming on their YouTube algorithm has been met with at least one Genshin ad in their life. And even just random billboards or postages in certain parts of the world have a Genshin Impact advertisement. This is most especially true in Southeast Asian markets where Genshin has permeated through casual media as a form of advertising. Genshin is one of the rare games that actively runs around for sponsored content consistently beyond its initial release. According to market research teams, most games only have sponsored content from creators during the initial release of the game, or major DLC content releases or patch updates to keep the hype going. But if you notice with Genshin, its relationship with the content creator community extends to several sponsorships, and even monthly fan events like HoYoFest and HoYoFair. It's because of these little things that Genshin's exposure is so vast compared to its competition, and that even though there are those that haven't played them yet, it's highly likely that at least one character from Genshin Impact has been seen by the general audience. Man, the Philippine National News tweeted about Nahida next to a flood warning, so you know this game is massive. But with that out of the way, let's start with a massive list of Genshin collabs that have happened in the past. I won't be covering all of it because there's surprisingly a lot, but I'll cover the more salient ones. We already know that Genshin has had a collaboration with Horizon New Dawn with the release of Aloy, as well as several merchandising companies to create their toys and goodies. Funko Pop is one of these companies that have had collaborations with to bring us mouthless Paimon. Another one is a classic guidebook collaboration with Rurubu, featuring our adorable traveler twins being our walkthrough companions across Tivat. Genshin also has a reputation of collabing with a lot of food products, restaurants, malls, and convenience stores, coupled with several cute clothes for chosen characters that would act as ambassadors for the products. It all started with the KFC man and the Twitch wings, which actually had a lot of controversy in 2021. Genshin Impact collaborated with Chinese KFC branches and brought the wings of feasting to the global Twitch scene. In China, there were Genshin Impact-themed KFC stores complete with the famous KFC Diluc and Noel, and the several stolen standees. But this incident, and a few collabs here and there, marked the potential of Genshin Impact to be something big and fascinating, and that kept going on for the next couple of years. During November 2021, and in the succeeding years, Genshin came to our restaurants and introduced the world to HoYoFest, an event limited to several food chains in Southeast Asian countries where they dressed up the place in Genshin standees, wallpapers, and merchandise. I had the luxury of actually going to the November 2021 event, and unfortunately, the one in the Philippines didn't have Genshin-themed food. It was just standard Chinese cuisine, which was kind of but it is what it is. There was also a case of several standees getting stolen from these places, so it was absolutely wild. A kidnapping, as Philstar put it, occurred in the San Juan Cafe. Clay came back home, but it was kind of embarrassing that the perpetrator was trying to cover it up by saying that it was on the floor and they had the right to it. In September 2022, Genshin had a collaboration with Haiti, which featured several cards, emoticons, prints, and cute designs for Ayato and Ayaka. Travelers can get these emotes on QQ, WeChat, and Douyin, but it isn't available for the global market, unfortunately. But in September to October 2022, Genshin had a collab with Lawson, which was a massive convenience store franchise chain in Japan that originated in the United States but exists as a Japanese company based in Shinagawa, Tokyo. This one featured Yoimiya and Hu Tao as their primary mascots, and I love their designs. Genshin also had several collaborations with popular restaurant chains like Yela, Ningguang, Amber, and Eula being mascots for Pizza Hut, Genshin having a small collaboration with Domino's, Jade and Barbara being a collaboration with Pizza Avolo, and a lot, and I mean a lot, of new design collaborations for Sweet Paradise. I swear, Sweet's Paradise must have paid him a lot of money because these were custom designs not only for Mondstadt, but also Liyue characters, and that is not cheap. They also had a collaboration with a popular arcade venue known as Gigo, with Nilo and Kaveh being the primary mascots for the 2023 version and Singcho, Chongyun, Ayaka, and Thoma for the 2022 one. And when I hear arcade, I obviously see classy white tuxedo, so clearly, truly the right attire when I want to play some air hockey. But these are all just child's play. Anyone can go to a convenience store or a mall or buy copious amounts of boba. But you know what truly represents the Genshin Impact community? Money. So back in the day, they had collaborations with truly the most affordable of products for the common man, a trip to the Alps. Yes, this is where this lovely image came from. As a celebration for the release of the Albedo Dragonspine event, they collaborated with the Val Thorens ski resort in France to place random standees in various places in the Alps to greet the skiers as they pass by. Another on the very, very affordable list of Genshin Impact collaborations are the amount of phone collaborations they had. They had 2 collaborations with Samsung for the Galaxy Z Fold 4 featuring Ganyu and then an accessory featuring Nilou. They've also collaborated with OnePlus, which brought us this adorable Sucrose dip and this fire Hu Tao case, as well as 1000 Prima Gems, because obviously if you have enough money to buy a Genshin Impact themed phone, the best they can do is 6 pulls. Clearly. They also had multiple earphone and smartwatch collaborations with Xiaomi, featuring Klee and Tartaglia, which is really adorable. Another fascinating collaboration that they had was with a literal bank. Genshin Impact had a collaboration with China Merchants Bank that brought us the Ganyu credit card. I have no idea if this has free primos, but the implication of a gacha game being the face of a credit card is kind of funny. Also, Alipay for some reason decided to get the Botany Boys as their mascots at one time, which is fascinating considering that this is supposed to be an online payment service. I quote, "This collaboration promises to bring new adventures and environmentally friendly merchandise to the Genshin Impact world, while also promoting low-carbon travel and other eco-friendly practices." Sure, buddy. And for Genshin Impact's magnum opus of a collaboration, their collaboration with Cadillac, bringing to us Kardahara Karzaha. They had a collaboration with Cadillac to bring the Cadillac CT4 and XT4 themed after Beidou and Kazuha, pricing at around 235,700 Chinese yuan or 33,000 USD or 1,859,000 PHP, which is actually kind of surprisingly cheap, so I don't know if these are accurate prices. And by buying this cheap car, you can get a whopping 23,000 Prima Gems, 100,000 Mora, several leveling up materials, and a name card called Lenticular Clouds that will be absolutely worth it. I think the reason this collaboration is hilarious is because it's so out of the left field, and the design of it could have been super sleek if they didn't put the anime characters on the literal side of the car and just the aesthetic, like, you know, a la name card style. I will diss this 30,000 USD car with a passion because apparently it's sold out. Now, there's just 121 units of this car somewhere out there in China, and I have yet to see one. And also, apparently they did a collab before with Xiao Xiang, Ling Kaching, and Barbara, but didn't do the drip marketing for the clothes, which is honestly such a shame. We were absolutely robbed. Now, with all of that out of the way, the real question is, why? Are these products actually effective in doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is promoting Genshin Impact, or are these just useless collaborations? Well, there's a hidden psychology behind it when you actually look at market research. The fascinating aspect about all of these collaborations is that Genshin goes far and beyond the usual marketing ploys that we've seen not just from video games, but most media in general. Genshin branches out to so many different aspects like concerts, malls, cars, fashion, food, and even banking information, which no gacha company should ever have in their hands, that Genshin, or even Hoyoverse itself, has become such a cultural phenomenon. From its concerts to its collaborations, Genshin's marketing strategies are so prominent that it's almost strange. However, most of the things I have pointed out are in Asia, with an exception to the Alps and other brands with worldwide shipping. When it comes to international collaborations, Genshin is limited to expos or events hosted in major places like Comic-Con or concerts. Genshin doesn't have that strong of a market yet in the western side as opposed to the east, which does make sense. But the core of everything is that it just creates any kind of exposure. Sure, some people would find it cringe or almost materialistic to have merchandise as expensive as a phone or a car of a Genshin Impact character, but as long as they can get people talking about that character in the first place, they're good to go. Genshin Impact is so big that it doesn't need good publicity specifically, just good enough publicity. And that's an interesting aspect of marketing. Market research often shows us that any form of exposure that doesn't warrant a legal reparation will always be good. And even better when the exposure is from such an an outlandish sorts, that public reactions are mixed or shocked. A great example of this was with the Alps, where everyone's first reaction was to make memes of Venti sticking out in the snow. It really did wonders on just getting people to talk about it. The restaurant collabs are smaller, yes, but including the characters in their own personalized marketing with new looks was ingenious in not only creating this connection with the brand, but also making the collaboration feel authentic. It also helps that Genshin Impact's locations like Mondstadt, Inazuma, Liyue, Sumeru, and Fontaine have cultural references to real-life places, which makes real-life collaborations more seamless. Yes, they live in a fantasy world, but we can absolutely see Ayato just drinking boba somewhere, or Hu Tao enjoying a convenience store. Furthermore, there's a hidden psychology about blurring the lines between fiction and reality when it comes to the parasocial aspect of consumerism. These characters suddenly leave the comforts of just being characters and slowly become more integrated into our everyday consumption like food or transportation. And when people slowly begin to associate Genshin not just as a game, but as a massive and versatile product, then that's when Hoyoverse has succeeded. Casual gamers outside of the market would have heard of Genshin in one way or another, and existing player bases would be more incentivized to interact with their collaborated product because their favorite character is associated with it. A lot of people would disagree with me and say that, oh, I would never buy that, or oh, that doesn't work on me because blank blank blank. But communication research would show us that marketing ploys and psychological tactics like this aren't catered to the majority, but rather to the 1%. And that 1% spends a lot. Similar to how a massive amount of players in Genshin are free-to-play or low spenders, but when the whales and leviathans get their credit cards out, they amount to a massive share of the revenue. That's just how the cookie crumbles. But anyway, that's it for me today. Just a look into Genshin's interesting history with collabs. Anyway, my name is Aster, and thank you for chilling with me. Bye-bye!